Alright, lads, we are back. Thanks for staying up to now. We are in the second game of the grand finale, and let's just go with the normal speed. What's the rush? And we got some interesting stuff here. I wanted to just delay the overlay for a bit further, but looks like Lady Malfoy is just going with the Mayans, and I would say she's kind of late right now towards her Yucatan age up. I guess she just placed the Haciendas really late. I'm not really sure what was the intentions of making all these settlers before doing the revolt, because it looked like she's just trying to get all the settlers out before she goes for the revolt. And as for her deck, she doesn't have the gendarme, so that means she won't have any sort of heavy or melee cavalry in her unit composition. And considering this map is Girona, she won't be having any sort of melee cav. So everything that comes in terms of melee cav, it's going to be from Fregon. Not sure if they are trying to pull out some team fight or not, but if this will be the case for her, she could have some trouble in some situation, because obviously all the time you need the melee cavalry to be part of your unit composition, or just to be there whenever you need it to go for it. I mean, I guess maybe she thought, since she is against Sweden, let me just check actually if she is against Sweden. Let's check Peyhah's deck. Yeah. Well, it looked like Peyhah is a native, so maybe that's why she didn't go for the gendarmes. But other than that, the Hacienda's placement is kind of late. She could just go with the settlers with the Hacienda and just go for the revolt. But looked like she just trained all the settlers by just maxing from the TC. Maybe she just wanted to have the extra XP that you will get from the settlers when you train them. But in any case, she's already in Yucatan, sending the factory and all the necessary cards that she needs from the Yucatan deck. And then obviously after that, I assume she will be going directly into the Mayans. Let's check Fregon's deck. So his deck is rather standard. It doesn't have the extensive fortification. That's rather odd, but instead he went with the improved building. I would say extensive fortification is better than improved building in some cases. Well, most of the cases. I mean, having extra 7 towers for Ottoman is really nice. Aside from the fact that the extensive fortification also boosts your outpost and walls HP by 25% if I'm not mistaken. So it's a really nice card to have rather than improved building. But other than that, his deck is really standard. Nothing too fancy about it. So it's really sad that Lady Malfoy won't be able to get any benefit from this card, because she does not have the gendarmes, so she won't be having any sort of melee cavalry being trained. So this card will be kind of pointless. And in terms of the civilization combination, I would say, since Lady Malfoy is going for the Mayans, I'm not really sure what was their team synergy for the Ottoman Mayan composition. I mean, if she wanted to go for normal Mexico, obviously this card is a beast card for Chinacos. It just makes them really scary to be there in the combat. Just that extra 10% melee resist they will get, it will be kind of nightmare to deal with. But then again, this is their choice. We'll see what's their game plan. Probably maybe they just try to go for some sort of run or some sort of unique unit composition. Maybe we'll see some cruise-up infantry and Abusgon combination, or maybe cruise-up infantry and bombard spam. We'll see how this will turn out for them. Sweden, we'll get into it. Charles versus Sweden. Yeah, I know, but then again, probably they knew at least one of these saves because it's a draft pick. So since Peyhah and Maul won the first game, so they had to pick first on the second game. So I'm not sure if the first pick was Ottoman or Sweden, but in any case, I'm not sure if. I guess Lady Malfoy is planning to play natives, right? I didn't see any native card for Fregon, so yeah. I mean, in any case, Fregon could just potentially switch to another civ to face against Peyhah Sweden in natives, and then Lady Malfoy could just kinda roll against Ottoman as Mayans. I mean, the map is kinda huge, and Ottoman could potentially struggle against Mayans. Unless they get a camp going, then in that case, Mayan will be dead. But then again, as I've said, the civilization combination is kind of questionable. But we'll just wait a second. How many mine wagon did Peyhah send? Okay, there we go. That's a really late Mayan actually. Peyhah sent 8 mine wagons. Oh my god. So he sent one, so that's gonna be 4 mine wagon, and he sent this card another 2 times. I mean, I guess he got the trade post. Maybe that's why he just thought he can afford it, but really? I mean, sending this mine card 3 times during the boom? I guess he just wanted the juicy heavy boom with Sweden. He also got the silversmith card, which is really nice actually. I guess if he reached to a point where he's just spamming these mine wagon, he can't just use the settlers. They will gather really nicely from the mine the normal copper mines. And other than that, where is the case shot? Why there is no case shot in Sweden's deck? And I mean, I guess since the start he could see Lady Malfoy's deck, and just by the look of that deck he could see that Lady Malfoy is going with Mayans, but I would say Peyhah gonna have some trouble against Maya right now. Because usually against Maya you need a camp, and then after that you just need to just wipe their whole army with artillery. And then they will drain in really quickly. They're just like, I would say, a mixture of Aztec and Inca. So they have more heavy infantry. A unit that is that gets countered by a skirmisher. And their artillery obviously not the best. The light cannon is just to deal with artillery. You can't really use light cannon to kill infantry. Or really weak in terms of their damage output against infantry. So overall, I wouldn't say that this is a really good way to execute Mayans, but we'll see how this will turn out for him. Because obviously, I would say Lady Malfoy can just win this matchup with this deck just by spamming Cruiser Infantry and natives. Since Peyhah doesn't have case shot, she can just put the Cruiser Infantry in melee and then just walk into the horse artilleries and then just kill them easily. Because Peyhah doesn't have any skirmisher. I mean, he will be having these natives as well, but so does Lady Malfoy, and obviously Mayans natives will be much better. So Peyhah doesn't have any skirmisher unit to deal with the cruiser infantry mass. Then we will see how this will turn out for them. Could go either well or could go so wrong. But then once again, you just need a really nice camp to deal with Mayans. And Looks like Peyhah also age up with the mountain troopers, as I was talking about the other game. So you can go with this age up if you're not planning to use their mercenaries. Because he was greedy. Yeah, I guess he went too greedy with his deck, I would say. But then we'll see how this will turn out for them. But by the look of it, Maul, you don't sound too happy about this. But we'll see how this will turn out. I hope this will be an interesting game, actually. Let's check Maul's deck just before we do anything else. So his deck is really standard. He got the extensive fortification. Actually, his deck is just like Fregon, except for the extensive fortification card. So he has extensive fortification card and doesn't have improved building. Fregon has improved building and doesn't have the extensive fortification card. This will be a really awkward mirror game. I would say it's more in favor of Maul just because he has extra 14 towers. So if it gets to a point where both players are just camping in, it will be more beneficial for Maul than Fregon. I mean, if you are talking about a complete equally skilled players, then we'll see how this will turn out for them. Maybe Fregon is just planning to have that extensive, have that improved building for his building, extra building HP for his runs, which will be potentially annoying. But let's see if he will be able to execute that nicely or not. So in terms of the civilization combination on the other side, so obviously the Team C4 Team Spy card is really nice for Swedish units, for the Swedish hussars. They have a really nice HP. This will just add the extra 10% melee resist for them. Will be kind of good against Mayans as well, since they have the cruise of infantry. Obviously you need your melee cav to be as strong as possible, but then since cruise of infantry, they do range damage against all cavalry. Not sure how this will gonna turn out for him. Not all cavalry, sorry, against heavy cavalry, my bad. And obviously Ottoman will be getting the benefit from Swedish team heavy infantry. Really nicely, he could go for the Hamburachi, the Grenadiers, and also the Janissaries and the Nizams as well will be boosted. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Maul usually goes for the Hamburachi upgrade. I'm not sure if this game will be the case or not, but we'll see how this will go. So by the look of the setup of the military building, looks like Lady Malfoy has almost barracks everywhere around the map. Fregon doesn't really have that many military buildings on this side. I have a feeling they just gonna switch over again. I'm not sure if that will be the case, but because Fregon doesn't really have that many barracks on this side except for these two barracks in here. Oh, actually, there is another two here as well. Okay, never mind. But I guess there is no forward barracks at this position. I guess they will be fine. Wouldn't be a big issue. So let's see if... Oh, apparently Lady Malfoy also forgot about the arsenal tech for the Conquistadors. So she doesn't have that extra 2 range and also extra damage on the Jesuit allies, and she won't be able to get it anymore just because the arsenal tech will be gone after we revolt into Mayan, so she won't be having that extra damage and range on the Jesuits anymore. This is an interesting match, actually. I'm really wondering how this will gonna turn out for them. This could go well or wrong for either side. I'm really hyped for this. I forgot to send a milk card before wood trade. Oh my god, nice! Congratulations, Maul. Well done. Well, I mean, now you have it, but by the look of your at your wood amount, I can see you were missing that. And it looked like Fregon is just much ahead in terms of that. So Lady Malfoy has the factory. I don't think, except for the factory, she has anything else on coin. And probably she won't be needing it since she doesn't have the gendarme. I would say the factory trickle would be enough to sustain the gold income for the light cannon spam, but could not be as well. But we'll see how this will turn out for her. Either ways. I'm not sure if she has all of her units upgraded or not, but I think she already got everything upgraded, so she wouldn't have any issues anymore in terms of coin. I thought she maybe doesn't have the infantries upgraded, but she already have them upgraded, so she will be just fine. And look at Maul with his Mamelukes, as always. This is the second time that we see him playing as Ottoman and using the Mamelukes. It's such a nice unit, and I would say it's really helpful and annoying for Ottoman to deal with it. So Fregon could potentially have some trouble dealing with the Mamelukes in a mirror matchup here. But then we'll see how this will turn out for him. Obviously, 6 Mamelukes, they will be tanking quite a lot of shots, and considering the daily nerfs on the current patch, I would say the Mamelukes are really a solid choice for Ottoman, considering they will have the extra melee resist as well after he sent the card. It would be a really nice choice there. You're welcome, Francisco. You're welcome. God Lady going Maya in the RTS final. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's gonna be really amazing. It's a really nice decision by her, but let's see if she can execute this or not, because I'm not gonna lie, fighting with Mayans is not really an easy task. I mean, you get that a really strong early pressure, but then the tempo will go down really fast as well. So if you don't do it right, you will have some troubles really hard, like really massively. But then we'll see if this will be the case or not. But considering Peyhah doesn't have the case shot, I would say Peyhah could have some trouble against Mayans right now. And let's check the other side. Actually, let's check the scouting before. Oh my god, what is this? I mean, Fregon is playing as Ottoman, a really aggressive running civ. I mean, it's one of those civs that you can just run constantly. And what is the scouting? He doesn't know where the other factory is. I guess he's just assuming it's next to this. And, well, the assumption is correct. But what is the scouting? It doesn't know what's going on in the corner. I guess neither Lady nor Fregon actually did anything regarding the scouting. I don't assume they will be doing the scouting even after that. But there was a ping going on here. Guess they don't realize it's just heavily walled and being protected by military buildings. Let's just check the other side. Well, Maul got a fair vision, I would say. You can imagine that there are 4 layers of wall here at least, protecting their base. And he can see that the hacienda is just next to the trees, so he could just potentially apply some pressure into that point, cause some trouble. And other than that, he doesn't really know what's going on in the middle in terms of the walls layout. But these walls have holes. Obviously, you can just squeeze some Janissaries in, but then the thing is, in Giona, you can't really set up military building except for this really small part here. Unless you snipe the initial TC, then you can obviously spam military buildings anywhere that you want. But other than that, he doesn't really have a running situation or position that he can potentially go. Let me just double check. Yeah, this space is too small, so he won't be able to fit any sort of military building there. So running into the eco to spam military building won't be an option here. The only option is to win by controlling the map and showing your dominance to your opponent. Let's check if Lady Malfoy got all of her cards. She has all the necessary cards that she needs for the start fight. Got the food upgrades. Already sent the native warrior card. She could potentially go for native combat card instead, or even go for the infantry training time. That would have been a nice option as well, obviously. This lady plus Maya still OP? I don't know. Yeah, the scouting, no offense, it's awful. I guess they just spend a bit of time to scout here as well, but I mean, it's just 30 seconds to treaty end and it won't be scouting any further. This is a rather defensive position against Sweden as Mayans. She's not trying to go too ham, and looks like Peyhah is also just lining up rather close against Maya. Is just on the half map. This is not really a good option, but considering Lady Malfoy's starting position is further back, I guess this is not too bad either. The insurgents are not Imperial, which is rather odd. These are a really good units as Mayans. They siege really fast if they are in Imperial stage. It can be a really nice panic spam. The fight is already started. All the units are just scrambling into each other. Look like Fregon has some Janissaries in the corner. That's Maul's Janissaries in the corner. And meanwhile, on the other side, the Mamelukes are just walking in. Look how much damage they're just tanking. They're just taking the aggro from all of Fregon's infantry. Maul's bombers are still alive. Meanwhile, Maul is just trying to take the control over the side. Both Ottoman players are just spamming the military buildings with the Janissaries. Look like Fregon is just opening up the cover and sniped one of the bombards right away. The second bombard will be going down as well, I assume. Unless the covering, well, I guess he just didn't shift click the covering. And as we speak, look like Maul is just trying to do some sort of tunnel play into the native. He's just trying to use the corner and then trying to set up military building. Lady Malfoy is already saying that, but we assume she's not really responding anything into it. And as I've said earlier, Peyhah is in trouble. I assume he traded late as well against Maya. It's just, I mean, doing this sort of play is like playing heads up, just lining up everything against Japanese or even Inca, and then trading at 1 minute before treaty and expect that you will be able to hold the position and not get rolled. So this is just what is happening right now. I guess Peyhah went really greedy with his trade, and now his coin is really looking on the edge. But at least he constantly have the horse artilleries being out there. and trying to deal with the cruiser infantry mass. And at the same time, it's just constantly trying to throw some settlers forward and try to make some walls, make some barracks and military buildings. But if I'm being honest, this is not really looking well for Peyhah. Look like Lady is just getting distracted by Maul's mini run here in the corner. Maul is not really spending more units in the native. He also have his explorer inside the natives. That's a really nice choice. I think he already got the, just double check. I think he got the, yeah, he took the upgrade for the Karib, so I guess he was trying to make some plays with the Karibs inside the native, but maybe he just forgot. Back to the other side of the map. Looks like Maul is in the corner as well, and as well as middle. He's just playing this really nicely, if I'm being honest. Both of these games is just trying to do split games, split pushes. It's just against his typical game style. He's just a really heads-up player, and I guess he's just trying to adapt himself into the play style. It's really nice to see. Usually Maul's favorite save is Russia, and usually it just goes for the pure heads up, and if you just do any sort of run against him, he won't be happy about it. But it's just playing this game really nicely, as well as the game before this. Looked like Fregon already made some mortars. The split into the natives by Maul is dealt with, but now Maul is already in the middle of the map. Fregon is just trying to make some run with the Janissaries and also dealt with the site as well. Seafoys from the shipment are still alive. Surprised. Let's check Peyhah's score. He's still looking overwhelmed, but he's trying to set up the camp for himself. As I've said earlier, as soon as this camp is up by Sweden, Mayans will be completely dead. I guess Peyhah's initial bad position just caused him to lose the starting camp. I would say he could have just set up this camp much earlier, but then still he's just trying to regain the position and hold the spot really nicely. As I've said, this is the key here. As long as those Horsard are there, these Mayan units will be getting wiped. There we go, 5 light cannons by Lady Malfoy is just coming in. Peyhah doesn't have any sort of covering at that position. Could just flank those light cannons with some Hussars, but then that will be an expensive move to do, because there are so many cruiser infantry and anti-cav all around those light cannons. And essentially Peyhah already got a bounce shot on those light cannon with the horse shot. That was a really nice move there. Let's just back into the middle. Look like Maul is actually doing a really nice job here. He's just taking the control over the center of the map. He could potentially try to snipe the 2P settlement with his mortars, because Fregon doesn't really have that many anti-cav around that position. Look like Maul is just trying to spread out his units almost everywhere. There we go. 4 Kuvrins coming in by Peyhah. Fregon used his mortar that he used earlier to snipe the military buildings from Maul into the native, and he's just trying to extend the position with his mortar. That's a really nice move, considering Mayan's mortars are 6 pop, and also they're really coin heavy. Obviously this will be really nice thing and nice move by Fregon, but Peyhah's coin is really looking unhealthy. Oh, look at this light cannon spam by Lady. It's really annoying thing to deal with, considering Peyhah's current situation with low coin. he could have some sort of trouble. The native settlement is getting sniped, and it wouldn't be... Doesn't seem like Peyhah is able to stop that. Maul could potentially just jump into the native and try to help and also flank the position, because their native is kind of open. Try to make some sort of play there. Meanwhile, Fregon is just pushing and sieging the military buildings from Maul. This side doesn't really have any sort of siege unit, high siege units at least. It's just pushing in with the infantries and cavalries. Peyhah is just trying to deal with the mortars, and once again, since there are just too many anti-cav right there, the cavalries are not really a successful choice here. The Covrans, meanwhile, will be an amazing option. Peyhah is just trying to constantly keep the mass of horse artillery, and they're just saying really nicely. Lady Malfoy is kind of dropping in terms of wood, and she should be trying to set up some extra wood settlers and try to get that wood going up, because with this flow of unit spam and wood consumption, she will have issues in the long run. Can you start again the cast, please? Oh, sorry. Not possible. But the fight is really looking nice here. Peyhah is still in trouble. I would assume he's really low on coin still. When he regained some coin, so that's not really looking that bad. But here is the issue that I was talking about earlier. So these are Carolines. Obviously, they don't counter heavy infantry, and meanwhile, Lady Malfoy has a better musketeer with extra range and extra range attack that are just almost mirroring these Carolines. So once again, the key into this matchup is just to mass those skirmishers and horsard and just try to close any sort of flank, and then eventually Maya will be trained. Look like Lady Malfoy is just walking and charging in. Imagine Sweden had case shot at this point. He could just throw all of those crews of infantry to death. The crews of infantry are just going in and just trying to melee all the units there. I mean, this is another thing that she could do. She can just put all those crews of infantry in melee, since they have a really nice melee attack, and since Swedish army is really weak against melee resist, is really weak against melee units. Oh my god, what am I even saying in this game? Could have a really hard time dealing with that. And once again, the case shot is the factor here. But then that was a really nice move by Lady Malfoy, and she took a really nice control over that spot. She could try to potentially move a bit further. Looked like Peyhah is slowly walling the side and back to the middle. Nothing is really happening here. Look like both Maul and Fregon are just kind of playing this passively. Fregon has a fair amount of resources right now, so he could potentially feed Lady Malfoy if she's in trouble. He's still got plenty of all resources. He has a really nice micro going on right now. Macro, sorry, mistake. All back to the fight. Look like Peyhah is just trying really hard to hold the position here, and by the look of it, he's kind of feeling overwhelmed with the Mayans mass. Here is where the case shot would have done magic 2 or 3 horse artillery in this position would have just wiped these units in a second. But then look like Maul is also coming in with the help. He's just spamming those towers in this really nice spot that they have. This is going to be a really nice setup here actually. It's going to be really helpful. I'm just trying to protect the natives. In the meantime, Fregon is still pushing in the middle. Maul is back in the center of the map. Once again, he's trying to set up some military buildings. Otto has the best light unit in the game and incredibly quick taking down the cannons. What do you mean? You mean the... Which light unit are you talking about? Are you talking about the Amburages? Or, I don't know. I'm not really sure what you're talking about, but there we go. So, Peyhah got a bunch of horse art there. Maul also has a great bombard there as well. This is going to be really helpful here against the Mayans mass. All these infantry are gonna have a hard time, as you can be seen. Lady Malfoy is already feeling the pressure and just trying to pull back from that spot. Her food is going down rather quickly. She's still got plenty of cars to send. I'm not really sure why she hasn't sent them yet. She's just spamming the free cruiser infantry instead. Look like Maul already dealt with the middle pressure that were coming in from Fregon. Just with few Janissars and a boost gun and back to the other side of the map. Looks like there's just too many units fighting here. Double great bombard here. This is a point where Maya just have to go back. Like, there is no way you can push into this spot where there are horse artilleries, towers, and great bombards in that point. So this is a situation where Maya gets drained really hard if you're not paying attention. So there we go. Fregon is just dropping the 4 mortars, trying to siege down the wall. So you could potentially throw some delis at that spot and try to flank those artillery units. Look like Fregon is just trying to open up some gap, and at the same time this team fight is not really going in their favor, even though Maya has a really nice master. But still, the unit composition for Ottoman and Sweden is just looking much better, and also in terms of position as well. This is what I was talking about earlier. The tower spam and the camp for Maya is just a nightmare. Looks like Lady Malfoy already got multiple light cannons. She's just trying to deal with the artillery pieces, and actually she's doing it really nicely. Already took down the horse artilleries and the great bombards from Maul, and also took down 1 Covran. Look like Maul actually sniped the native post. That's a really nice move by him. Let's see if Lady Malfoy will notice the missing native post, because that will be extra 2Ps that she will be missing, and against these Carlin they will do magic. Doesn't really seem like Lady Malfoy is trying to push. She should just potentially switch the factory to either food or coin, just because how much food and wood she's using at this position. But I guess she's rather training more light cannon. Here we go, some mortar. I guess Maul just pinged him to push in further. And there we go. This is the moment, I guess, that Maul can do a game-changing move. The wall into the native is broken, and Maul goes in with the military building spam. Same goes for Fregon. I guess Fregon noticed that as well. Both players are just spamming the military building. Maul is also in the middle. Doesn't really have military building as we speak. He already placed double artillery foundry. The other side of the map, nothing is really happening. Look like both Fregon and Maul already gave up in that situation and that spot. So they're just trying to play towards the native side. The 2P settlement is still open. Lady Malfoy should be getting that ASAP. Because obviously she's just fighting this with less units, and obviously the 10k coin won't be doing her any favor right now. So this is the moment where both Sweden and Maya will be in trouble, because I mean, I guess Maya can regain the position much easily. I mean, get the macro going much better. She just have to switch the factory and also the trade post. That will be enough. But look at these crews of infantry. They're just getting shredded by those horse artillery, and there is nothing that Lady Malfoy can do. Obviously, not having the engineering school is also another factor there. It can't really deal with Swedish artillery spam as Mayans, considering the light cannons trained rather slowly. Can't really do much against it. Like, the pressure is really going on by Peyhah. Having that Caribs and the 2Ps are really helping him to regain the position nicely. I mean, these are extra. Let's see how many build limit was this. I forgot. Was it 15 if I'm not mistaken? 16. Okay, 16 extra units that they will do a fair amount of DPS. Let's take a look at this 43 range attack with 1.5 attack speed, and that's even higher on Mayans just because they have a native combat card and also the flag ability, which will have extra DPS compared to Sweden. Looks like Fregon is just trying to deal with Maul's pressure in the middle, and meanwhile Maul is just completely moving to the natives. Got a bunch of Hamburachis and also a boost gun. Only needs extra Janissaries there. Look at this nice tower spam by Maul. Just took the native pressure out of that point from Lady Malfoy, and also help Peyhah to regain that position. Peyhah is really looking healthy right now. He could potentially ask for resources from Maul, except for wood. Actually, Maul is kind of having wood issues right now as well, but could just deal with that easily. We're just switching over a few settlers into wood. We'll be fine. Oh, we got some petards going in. 3 petards. I'm not sure where is he planning to throw them. Oh, okay. He just used the petards for the military building. I'm not sure why he kind of overcome it with the petards, but I guess that's alright. You have to also remember Maul was a petard player back in the time where the petards were instant, so I guess that's where this is coming from. Let's just fix that statement. Petard spammer rather than petard player. So position is regained by Peyhah. He's actually pushing this really hard, and look like Lady Malfoy is kind of overwhelmed. The wood is, as I've mentioning earlier, the wood is not really looking good. The flag should be placed in the eco at this position. I don't think the flag is even inside the fight anymore. She should potentially just place the flag into the eco, so she will be getting that extra gather rate bonus for all those settlers inside the eco, and try to hold the position and hope for Peyhah to do any sort of mistake, so she will be able to eventually regain the position for herself as well. Look like Molly is extending with the outpost. Such a nice tower spam in this position. Fort is also there. A really nice defensive position is going on in that corner. Look like Mol has 4 bombards here. Oh god, oh god. This is just a nightmare. He can just destroy any military at this point. Like 4 bombards, they can just deal with the cavalries even. Not to mention their horse art as well. There we go. Look at that beautiful units are just tossing away. Look at them, they're just bumping into the barracks and dead. Look like Mol has a bunch of idle units in the middle of the map. He's not really doing anything. Fregon is just completely overcommitting into the native because Lady is kind of overwhelmed and the wood is not really looking good at all. Let's see if Fregon can feed. Looks like Fregon is also low on wood as well, so he won't be able to feed the wood either. Not sure what is this ping spam by Fregon. Those bombards are just getting a big value there. Nothing else is really going on. Some overcommitment of dailies from Fregon is just happening there, just trying to deal with the military building. Back to the main fight. Really nice 2v2 is going on here. Well, not really a complete 2v2, but a semi 2v2. We're just trying to push and hold this position. Look at those infantries flying away with those by those bombard shots, and they don't really have that many units to cover those artillery pieces. The artillery are just getting sniped away even by the regular units. Let's see if looks like Peyhah is just having a hard time in terms of food. He could potentially ask for Mol for resources. Mol has the resources to feed Peyhah completely. Got plenty of food and coin, and it doesn't seem like that bad for him, at least for the time being. There we go. The horse arts are unpacked. This is another moment where K-shot could have been really handy. I would say just one shot from the horse art would have been more than enough to just throw all of those units away. I'm not sure if either of you saw that bone shot on this position and then just shot a bunch of units here and then just killed them. That was just beautiful. Look like it's just a complete roller coaster in this game. The scores are really close and this game is actually looking really nicely. Look like Lady and Fregon are trying to regain the position once again into their natives. There's just so many military buildings. Look like Mol is just throwing those hamburgers and trying to siege down Lady Malfoy's buildings. They will be really handy actually there. You can siege quite fast. Look like Lady is just completely paying attention into this spot and not really paying attention to the other side. So for the moment, she will have this position, but as soon as these units are dead, she won't be able to train from the flank anymore, which will be really nice for Mol and Peyhah. Then let's see if Mol will be successful in that position or not. Look like Mol is just trying to remass some units. It's just really funny how both Ottoman players they just have military buildings almost everywhere, and they're just walking away from each other's military building, and they're not really caring about anything. Back to the native fight. Looks like Maul actually sniping all of the military buildings. As soon as this native embassy is down, it's gonna be even worse for Maul. Sorry, for Lady Malfoy. The 2P settlement is still off. Could be taking that back really fast because once again she's having the missing pop in terms of military. I'm not sure if... Oh god. Well, I mean, she doesn't really have that much wood to spam the Volcan Javelineers, but if she did, that would have been really nice. She has currently 48 build limit for the cruise for the Volcan Javelineers. So obviously, if she could just fully remass and take the artillery controller, she will be able to make a massive push or even execute Peyhah, because Peyhah is also really looking low in terms of food. Let's just check the other side of the map. Looks like all is just trying to make barracks here and there so we can just pull Fregon's attention from the natives, so they will be pushing in further. I'm not really sure why Maul is just making these Caribs, because they are not even really upgraded. They're not even... He's not really having the Imperial upgrade for them, so might as well just skip them, because they're not really doing anything good there. It's just a complete waste of resources, I would say. Looks like Peyhah's coin is actually getting low, and there we go, a feed from Maul to Peyhah. Food is completely recovered, so I guess Peyhah would feel more safe to spam those military buildings. And there we go, 1.35 coin per second on the Swedish settlers. It's just a really nice constant gather rate. That gather rate is really solid actually. Obviously not the highest gather rate in the game in terms of mining, but once again a really solid gather rate. Obviously much better than having the settlers on the plantations. Why he trains Cav needs cool. Well, there goes the missile. I guess he's just trying to throw some Cav there to just tank for the units, and they are actually doing a nice job. And there we go, Peyhah used the Carolines on charge mode and dealt with one Coverin already. One more Coverin barely survived, and this is actually really looking good. Maul is also made a tunnel play on the native side, and look like Lady Malfoy is just completely out of the natives. She doesn't have either of the native settlements anymore, and this is not really looking well for them at the moment. Once again, Fregon could potentially feed Lady Malfoy. Like, I'm not sure if he has done that so far, but I would assume he has done plenty of feeding. Looks like Lady Malfoy rather decided to use the flag offensively rather than defensively, and just use that for the extra DPS on the units, but she's just getting forced to get pushed back and also losing the flag eventually from that position. We'll see if that will be happening, but I would say even if she loses the flag, she can replace it instantly. Guess she had the flag there for quite a while, so by the time she loses the flag, she will be able to replace it. I think the explorer is dead, so it can't. Yeah, so the flag is already recharged, so She can just place the flag there. I'm not sure if she will be doing that or not, but it's a really nice looking flank from Maul right now. It's just trying to snipe all the military buildings right away. There we go. Look at this horse art spam by Peyhah. This is really looking scary for both Ottoman and Mayans. Looks like Lady Malfoy just end up with a bunch of coin and no, well, not no food yet, but rather low. She still hasn't noticed that the 2P settlement is missing. It's actually a really interesting fighting game. Really interested to see who will be dominating eventually, because it's just a constant back and forth. Maya can obviously come back out of this position if she just constantly remasks the units, but it doesn't seem like Molly is just letting her to be in peace. In the native side, Fregon is just trying to help with the natives as well, trying to hold the position, but these bombard and horse art spam by both Maul and Peyhah is just paying off big time. Like, Fregon is just trying to make a semi-run here. Doesn't seem like it's successful. Watch out, this pressure with the horse art is just really looking scary for Lady Malfoy and Fregon. 6 horse art, or just 7 horse arts, are just completely obliterating the infantries constantly. It's really nice that Peyhah noticed the coverings from Fregon and just instantly pulled back the horse arts to the other side and just trying to snipe with his own coverings. 2 coverings went down, the third one is going down as well. I don't think either of those coverings are gonna get anything. Just charging in with the Carolines. All of the coverings are dead. They're just having a really nice position here actually. They're just pushing this really nice and slow. So I would say that's the best thing you can do against Mayan. Just going in slow, try to zone in constantly. It's just like fighting against Japanese or Inca. You can just, if you don't really push it nicely and have your flanks open, you can get flanked easily with the units. But then, well, for this case, Lady doesn't have the gendarme, so the flanking from the cavalry is not an option. But obviously Fregon could do that with the delis. Looks like the pressure is actually really going rough for Lady and Fregon. They're seeming kind of overwhelmed with this pressure, not really knowing what to do. That was a really odd comment, Francisco. But anyway, back into the fight. Like, they're trying to push all the way. Oh, there we go. Lady already took the 2P settlement. She's out of food and wood completely. And she got 3k wood income, but since all of these units are costing wood and food, she cannot really sustain the economy. 22 puppies already queued inside the shipment. Look like Maul is trying to make a small push going in the middle. And Peyhah is just sending the settlers forward, trying to make some forward military buildings. Let's see what they have in mind. Not sure if he's planning to close those flanks or not, but I just love how 21 settlers are just sustaining the coin really nicely there. I'm not sure if Maul feed Peyhah in terms of coin as well or not, but coin income is really looking nice for him. Look at all these prospect wagons. Just have a bunch of those mining wagons just AFK. Not really doing anything. There we go. The Carib settlement is sniped once again, and Lady is just forced to use the 2Ps right now. She's not really fully massed on the Holcons either, and she can't really do it either. There we go, some cover and spam by Fregon. I would say in such a team fight, if Fregon constantly keep the artillery control and Lady Malfoy just stick into the infantry mass, they will be able to execute this, just because Mayans have so many units. But then I doubt Lady Malfoy has the economy to sustain it. As we speak, Peyhah is also out of coin. Then Maul can easily feed him with plenty of coin and food left, so he's looking safe for now. Same goes for Fregon and Lady Malfoy. Look like Lady Malfoy is regaining the score again, and I guess after the game, just have to see how much Fregon and Maul paid and feed to each of these native players. I would say it was plenty of resources that they have fed. Let's check the center of the map if anything fancy is going on. Nothing is really there. It's just a complete 2v2 going on here. The fight is really looking nice here. This could once again turn in for either side. Could be ending up with making the score to 1-1 or 2-0 in a best of 5. Let's see what will be the result. Look like Fregon and Lady are just trying to pull back the position. They have a really nice mass going on, and to be honest, making these cougars at this point where they cost 100 food each is just not the best idea. You might as well just use all of your food for the Holcons. Just have that infantry mass going. Obviously, making the Holcons is just much better than making these cougars, which they won't be doing anything for you. Look like Maul is just pushing the side really nicely, flanking it with the mortars, trying to snipe the military buildings from Lady. Lady is just reaching into a position where she's just forced to train the units from her economy, and that won't be obviously a good thing and good position that you want to be. Maul is just constantly sniping the natives, just trying to take the Kari post for himself. Fregon is just trying to siege down the Kari post with few Janissaries, since the post is being built with the auto capture feature. It's not being built that fast, so they could potentially execute the native post. There we go. Some forward outposts as well by Maul. Lady just invests all of her resources, at least all of her food, into military buildings, so all of them are being trained and being sent forward. So as soon as all of them are there, look at these 51 Holcon Javelineers are already out. So it's just a matter of time and artillery control then that they could be having the control over that. But obviously this horse art spam is not really looking good for those Holcons. There we go, the light cannons are just coming in, trying to snipe the horse arts from Peyhah. Doesn't seem like Lady Malfoy is just paying attention and trying to snipe those horse art as we speak. One horse art went down. should be trying to deal with the other horse art, because all of these infantry are just getting shredded with those horse art. It's not really looking good. We got some pings going on here. Nothing is really happening. Like Fregon has some units over there, not really doing anything. Once again, let's just double check the map, see if anything fancy is going on all around the map. A bunch of idle units here and there, but nothing much. Look like both Ottoman players are just fully committing into their native and just trying to take the native position for themselves and help their ally with their position. The bombers are just getting sniped with the hussars. There we go. 4 Kuvrins are out by Fregon. Should be trying to snipe those artillery pieces by Peyhah and Maul, rather than just leaving them to have a free shot. There we go. The bombard is being targeted. Same goes for the horse art, I would say. Looks like just rather snipe both of the bombards first. Now, look like that was a nice move by Peyhah, just walking in with the horse art, sniping the Kuvrins with the horse art. I mean, since your enemy is not paying attention to your horse art, you might as well use your horse art to deal with the Kuvrins. Looks like Maul is trying to deny the native post once again. Got a bunch of Janissaries there trying to siege down the native post. Back to the other side of the map. This is really looking promising for Peyhah and Maul. In terms of score, they got the lead already. Look like Fregon is just dropping in terms of score right now. Not sure if that's because of defeating or it's because of making the bad trades. Could have been both, but obviously we will be checking the resources and also the KD right after the fight. But this is actually really looking good, and my game is kind of struggling rendering all of these infantry. Hong Kong OP. I guess Peyhah is also busy with Chinese New Year, so he's not in the chat, sadly. But surely he will watch the casted videos later. Could potentially use some mortar. Looks like Maul is already doing that. Just trying to push in with one mortar. This is really nice, just pushing it really slowly, not really overcommitting. It could also potentially snipe the 2P settlement, just need a central mortar here by either of them. That would be more than enough. This whole time Peyhah didn't get this upgrade? Seriously? I mean, this is a bonus against settlers. Might as well use it against those Ottoman settler spam. It's gonna be really nice to deal with the wall painting and any sort of settler spam into the fight to make military buildings. Obviously a really solid upgrade there. Not sure why he didn't pick it, but probably that's by forgetting it. Look like Fregon kind of overcommits on the other side with the mortar. Just sniped the settlement, but at the same time Peyhah is just dealing with the mortars. Just have 5 Kuvrins there, dealing with them. Fregon's Kuvrins are just getting stuck behind the cliff, and this is actually really looking good. There's also Korean New Year. I'm traveling, by the way. Well, Happy New Year to you as well, if you're Korean and also celebrating the Chinese New Year. So hope you're enjoying your time. And like, yeah, Rainfather, you should have joined this tournament. You might as well join the next one. Yeah, it's taking them a while. I haven't seen you in the game for so long. Obviously, Dramos is missing you as well. Back to the fight. Look like those mortars from Maul are getting handy. There we go. He's just sniping the walls, and all the units under the wall is just getting shredded by the mortar splash. And here is where the Fregon walls are coming handy. 8100 HP with the improved building. Just kind of being useful. Did I upgrade my mic? No, it's the same thing. Is it better or is it worse? I did some adjustment to my mic, but well, I would be glad to know if it is better or worse than before. German American, but I can celebrate Korean New Year. Oh, nice. Thank you, Windsurf. Glad to hear that. Was spending some time on adjusting the mic volume. I guess it kind of paid off. Back to the game. Looks like the pressure is on. Neither Ottomans are trying to make any sort of run. Maul had... I'm not sure if Maul had these mortars there for a while or not, or he just made them, but in any case, he got 2 mortars in the middle, not really doing anything. They're kind of idle. But back into the main fight. Looks like Fregon is just trying really hard to snipe those artilleries, but then the unit pathing is really looking awkward there. The cruiser infantry and the native pools are just there, not allowing them to make any sort of move. Fight is still on. Peyhah got the third native force for himself as well. Now he can just spam those Caribs. And Maul is really looking healthy. 241k with Ottoman. Oh my god. He could potentially make a full build elite and then just push this super hard with the Jaegerchere Abusgon mortars. They wouldn't be able to even do anything to that. And the score gap is rather large between the teams. Just a casual 10k difference between the scores. This is really looking promising for Maul and Peyhah. Just see if they will be able to secure the second game for themselves as well, and then eventually they have to move into the third game. Or if Fregon and Lady will be able to make a comeback out of this somehow. Looks like Peyhah has a bunch of covering there. It's just not allowing Lady nor Fregon to do anything there. It's just the pressure with the artilleries are just going big there. There goes some daily flank from Fregon. Only they won't be able to achieve anything. There's just a bunch of musketeers. I mean, there is nothing you can do against Carolines and Janissaries just targeting your dailies. What can you achieve there? Probably not the best choice, but I guess it's kind of desperate. It's trying to get those artilleries out. It's just trying to do anything for them. Meanwhile, Maul is throwing a bunch of Mamelukes there. They're tanking really nicely, even though the cruiser infantry is really strong against heavy cavalry in range attack, but still those Mamelukes tank quite a lot of shots that just allow Peyhah and Maul to push even further. Look at this nice position and tower spam for Maul. It just denies any sort of flank from this side and also trying to protect this side of the fight. It's a really nice tower spam by him. Props to him. Like, this pressure is just flawless and we're just kind of executing. Fregon is draining as well right now. And I won't assume he will be able to feed Lady Malfoy any resources. I mean, he's still got plenty of resources left, but will he be able to feed the resources to Lady Malfoy is the question. I mean, Lady Malfoy got 71 Hulkon Javelin here, so once again, she will be able to hold the position as long as she has the resources and they have the artillery control. But then it doesn't seem like they are in a spot that they can afford that. And once again, this Horse Sword spam by Peyhah is just hurting Lady Malfoy really hard. That was a really nice double shot by Lady Malfoy. She just took out 4 horse artillery in a second. It was a really nice shot by her. Now, look like the Kuvrin fight is just in favor of Lady and Fregon. Like, he's just trying to pull back out of that position. Just check the other side of the map. I think it's still going on. These 2 mortars are still idle. Bunch of idle settlers, idle units here and there as well, but it's not gonna be the game decider. But surely they could just make some impact into the fight. Peyhah should definitely try to make the use of those units. It's just kind of idle. He's just not really trying to go forward. Maybe he's just waiting for his Horse Sword and Kuvrin to do the push once again. Look at these tower spam. They're just shredding all these units. Constant tower shots from the outpost is just super annoying to deal with. And the good thing is, once again, I've highlighted this earlier as well, but this position for the outpost is just perfect because it prevents the flank from this side and also this side as well. It's just a really nice position. Look like this is really looking good for them. The pressure is just going on. Look like Maul is trying to apply pressure into this side of the map. I guess they have decided to spill up their army because they saw that the Mayon's mass into that choke was just too much, even though they could just take the artillery control really easily. But I guess they were kind of frustrated with this position. Guess Maul could potentially just try to push from this side of the map rather, but again he decided to go for the central position to go and apply the pressure into the cliff. And as we speak, got a bunch of military buildings set up. Guess he will try to queue mortars here as we speak. 2 mortars are being queued. 5 mortars are being queued as well on this side. Oh my god. This is gonna be what? 8-10 mortar push here? Oh my god, that's really big. Still got these 2 mortars idle there. Could have been a 12 push mortar. There we go. These mortars will be shredding every building right now, as long as the Janissaries protect them. As we speak, 2 mortars will be going down in this position, I guess. Maybe even 3 or 4. Well, looks like Fregon is just taking care of those mortars. All of those mortars are going down. The 2 mortars next to the wall are still safe. Looks like Peyhah is just not really pushing in. I'm not really sure why, but like maybe he was just waiting for his Kuvrin. There goes the casual Kuvrin spam by Peyhah. A really standard move by Peyhah. 8 Kuvrin. Let's go. But then, to be fair, you can't really blame him for that because obviously this is a moment where he needs those Kuvrins. Looks like same time Fregon is also trying to snipe those outposts with his mortars and actually cleaned up a couple of them. What are they gonna throw here? Oh, look like Molly is just walking in with the units. There we go. 8 mortars here. He will be sniping all those military building. Lady looks like Lady looks kind of overwhelmed. I'm not really sure why he's just sending the hold guns to the other side. Maybe she was just trying to go for the other side of the map, but then she just kind of didn't see that the Janissaries are going in. The gap is actually open. The Janissaries can go in, but then, as I discussed earlier, they cannot build anything inside the base, but they could potentially cause some chaos on the settlers. This is really looking good and promising for Peyhah and Maul. There we go. The mortars are just sniping all the military buildings. Maul could potentially make more mortars, and there we go. There goes the GG on the second game of this series. So I guess we will be heading into the third and fourth or even fifth or sixth game. So I mean, this is a best of 5, so Lady and Fregon could potentially make a comeback out of this. This was a really nice match, actually. I'm really surprised. 1 hour 37 seconds, 1 hour and 34 minutes. Oh my god, what am I saying? 1 hour and 37 minutes and 24 seconds. The match was really rough. It was just so much back and forth inside the game. It was really nice actually to watch. Let's check the resources and the feed. Fregon was dominating in terms of resources. Oh god, Fregon feed 75k. Oh my god, 75k. Holy. Okay, yeah, this is the part I was talking about in terms of KD. Look at the KD difference. Like, just constantly having those Horsard and Bombards to just deal with the infantry mass, it just gave them a huge advantage there. 75k feet to Mayans. That's rough. I mean, it's kind of expected, as I was also mentioning earlier. Oh, there we go. A bunch of mine wagons as well. Mayans are good in terms of early pressure, but then as soon as you get a camp going, it will just fall off really hard. And it looked like... Oh, actually, one more thing I want to check. Pretty sure Peyhah traded really late. Oh my god, yeah, there we go. Trading at 38 minutes. 38 and 35 seconds. That's really late against an aggressive civ, such as Mayans. It's like Fregon had a really nice boom there, actually. And Fregon was, oh my god, look how much he feed. Like, constantly he was feeding. But then at the same time, he was not applying any sort of pressure into the map, so that's probably why. They haven't played the rest of the series, so they've only played 2 of their games. So I assume they will try to play the rest of the series either today or tomorrow, potentially. But yeah, they haven't played the rest of the series, so we still don't know what's going on. They still have to play their games, and eventually we'll see what will happen in the series. Let's see if Peyhah and Maul will be securing a 3-0 against Lady and Fregon, or Lady and Fregon will pull out the godly comeback and make this 3-2 and then eventually win the tournament. I mean, both of these games for today, they were actually interesting. I loved it. I hope you guys enjoyed as well. And that will be it.